Hmm.
I've been watching this thing on HBO. Executive producers Michael Bay, which kind of threw me off at first. You know, he's the action movie guy, like
The
Transformers.
Transformers.
This thing's called Born Evil, though. It's a documentary, it's a limited series,
Hmm.
limited docu series, I should say. It's like 8 or 10 episodes about this family of people.
Like Tiger King.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Basically, it's these monsters. The first so in the first episode or two, you're introduced to a child killer who confessed to his crimes while in prison, but he was in prison for child killing. He killed a little girl,
Hmm.
and so but he's insane, and I mean like actually like movie scary guy insane. He looks like the Joker a little. He has this crazy maniacal smile, and he likes to be around filth and decay. So he like hoards his milk containers and lets them go all rancid. And he'll like leave liver on his windowsill until it gets all moldy and then eat it. He'll hang sausages up from the ceiling of his cell to let them get all rotten and moldy and then eat those.
There's
And
an Elden Ring character like this, but carry on.
he says he told his cellmate, he confided that that's him when he was looking good. All right,
Mhm.
I promise you. He shaved his head later on, and then he started smiling a lot, and it's rough. He told his cellmate that it reminded him of the smell of human decay, and he liked that smell. But he had what was the thing he did that was fucked? I mean, other than killing the children. Oh, his cellmate. The way this all comes out, his cellmate
This
is when
better
he's.
top child murder.
It does. This is great.
Okay.
His cellmate is one of these guys who embraces the Jesus look, long black hair and the beard, and they happen to be shaped kind of like Jesus. And you know they end up with a nickname, Yo Jesus. Remember Walking Dead? There was a Jesus.
Look like
This
him.
dude was one of those guys. So when this insane child killer gets him as a cellmate, he goes, "Oh, I've prayed to you for so long."
Mhm.
He thinks Jesus Christ is his cellmate. And so this guy gets so sick and tired of this freak telling him about little girls that he's like, look, man, whenever you have those thoughts and you want to talk about that sort of thing, just write it down. Just write it down and draw some pictures. So you end up with this notebook of terror that is now like exhibit A. And Jesus is talking to the camera because he's a free man now. He was in for weed smuggling, like a lot of weed smuggling.
Oh, so he's not crazy.
He's hippie. No, he's a part of the documentary now. He's being interviewed on
He's
the
pretty
outside
cool,
world.
actually.
Really cool, if I'm being honest. Jesus is like, man, you look at them drawings, they'll freak you out, man. All the eyes are too big, and they start showing the drawings, and they are. The eyes are too goddamn big. It's like really upsetting. It's really upsetting, and it's kind of childish but talented at the same time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like it's not scribbles. It's everything's symmetrical to some extent. It reminds me of Rugrats animation, if you remember that kind of art style.
Mm.
Like clearly this is an artist, just not. They have a childish art style. Well, it turned out this guy has killed lots of people and eaten lots of people. They're not sure how many, but there. Look at this shit. See what I mean with the big eyes?
A little too big.
So you get to like episode.
I like the cross hatching technique. Very interesting.
You enjoying that?
Yeah.
So after that's his signature. It's Halden or something. Ooh, grasp the
This
left
is
finger. with your right hand.
childish yet oddly way better than I could do.
Yeah, exactly. Like childish, but I can't do this. Frankly, I'm not talented.
I could do
And-
much better than this. And
Well, you're an
I would never.
artiste.
I took painting 101 and drawing 101 actually at university. Got my ass fucking handed to me in those classes. But anyways, yeah. Sorry.
Look at the
Continue
shading
about
on
the
like We
rapist.
the People, like the way that it's like kind of there in the background, and the seal is on the floor.
I think you
That's
guys
way-
would be impressed with how good you draw if all you could do all fucking day is draw.
fair.
You guys
so-
might be pretty good after a couple years.
So you get to episode 2 or 3 of this thing, and you're like, holy shit, that guy is insane. He's a serial killer. He's a cannibal. And he may have done more things, but he's confessed all this to Jesus, of course. And then they're like, oh, I didn't mention both my brothers are serial killers? And you're like, what? And now we go to the second brother on the other coast of the United States. Completely separate crimes. Also killing little girls and children and doing sex and raping. And this guy's like a cross-dresser as well. He like murdered this lady and then put her clothes and then like dressed as a woman to like leave her house so it wouldn't look suspicious. He what was the other thing? It's so creepy, both of them. Like I keep getting them a little confused, but their crimes are so similar. Killing little girls and burying them. Oh, they have the interrogation footage. When they got him to the police station, they found some evidence that links him to this little girl's murder. Like maybe some blood in a room he stayed in, like
Mhm.
something like that. And so first they send in two pretty police women to like kind of crowd him a little. Like he's sitting on like a two wide seat, like two
Mhm.
things wide. So one of the gals sits next to him, and the other police woman sits across from him. And she actually, they told her, they're like, dress sexy, like dress up, like put on your, dress like you're going on a date. And so like at one point she's like, look at this new slip I got. She pulls her skirt up a little so he can see this like lace slip that she's got on. And to hear her tell the story, because she's telling it today, this is 20 years ago. She's
Mhm.
like, and his eyes got big. You could tell he liked it. Then they show the video, and it's more like nice. Like it's more like I don't give a fuck.
Right?
Like this dude is weird. And so the girls are like crowding him, being weird with him, doing weird shit with a teddy bear that's sexually explicit a little. And the guys see this ain't working. And the dude stands up. He's like trying to walk out on the women. Like I've had enough of this. So then
They're like 30 years too old.
they send two dudes in now. And these and one of them sits next to him and the other sits across from him. And they've got him crowded again. And the dude sitting next to him, he's part of the documentary. So you get to see the old version of him, bald headed and gray bearded. And
Hmm.
he's telling the story with glee because he knows this guy's a monster. He's like, we shook him up a little. And they're all over him. Like he's like flicking this guy's nipple. And the guy's like, oh, don't flick my nipple, dude. What the fuck? And he's like arm around him. He's like, dude, get your arm off of me. He's like, what? Oh, we're being friendly here. That's how we do things around here. We're all friendly. And these cops are feeling this guy up, like rubbing all over him, flicking his nipple. And then the other guy goes, what kind of panties has he got on? Oh, he's got girly panties on. And he starts he reaches to like his hip so you can kind of grab his waistband and pull him out. He's like, look, women's briefs. Look at that. Told you had
Did he?
them girly. Yeah. This guy's a cross-dressing crazy person, straight out of Silence of the Lambs.
Mhm.
And so then like I didn't see it, but they acted like he made a move he shouldn't have. So then the next thing you know, the guy sitting next to him is strangling him, and the other guy's holding his hands down at his pocket so he can't lift his arms. And he's going, "I'll kill you. You know we're gonna kill you. We know what you did. You sick fucker." They're like torturing him now. Like,
Right.
and he's-
They're like pulling his underwear out. They're flipping his nipples. They're crowding him, getting way too close. I wonder what he did to earn a strangling. Probably nothing.
Not much. It did.
Right.
I think they just started strangling him,
Mhm.
and you're seeing all this like 25-year-old footage, and then they cut back to the guy, and he's like, "We got in a little trouble about that. Some people complained." And it's like this was not the end of his career. This video of him choking this man in the interrogation room.
I
and
was
like,
chastised.
you know,
Are you
we're
talking
gonna
about
kill-
that killer documentary you've been watching?
yes, that's
Oh, okay.
that's how they interrogated one.
He
but
was a
doesn't break.
strangler?
No,
Was
no,
that
the
his method of
cops-
choice?
No, this is the cops torturing him in the interrogation room.
Oh,
Like
well, he was a
feeling
serial
him-
killer. I'm okay with that.
Yes, exactly. But here's the thing. He just takes it. He almost doesn't care. He'll kind of like
He's like,
like he's not that, but he's also not like freaking
Who were
out
his
that
victims?
much.
Were they
Little girl,
just
children and women. It
Okay.
seems like it seemed like a lot of children and women.
easy
He was-
ones.
yeah?
he-
He's going for easy targets.
He's doing serial
The-
killer challenge on easy mode.
I can't remember if he was the one who had like cut the girl's nipple off and then dismembered her in the trunk of his car. And they
Oh,
were
he was
like,
going for the disgusting pervert achievement.
they're like, we
Speaking
never
of,
did find the nipple. They kept going on about it. We searched for that nipple. High and low. We looked for the nipple, and they cut to another person. Never found the breast pieces. He said that he
how
bit
long is
her
it going to
breast.
last, right? How long can a nipple stay out there detached from a person until you're
Well,
like,
I think he maybe had it somewhere.
I'm
like,
pretty sure
as a
that
souvenir.
Ed Gein made a belt out of human nipples.
You know how many nipples it takes to
So
make
clearly
a belt?
they can stay together somehow. Dude, Ed Gein was a monster.
you got to do
he had no
something.
shortage of victims.
Got to have
It
some
depends.
preserving
Have I
techniques.
been on a cut? Like,
So then,
I, oh,
you
I'm
get so that's the second serial killer brother, and then the third brother is like a 65-year-old trans person, maybe with like scabs on his head and like wearing this ridiculous Mario Brothers
like on
get up,
meth or something, like meth scabs.
but seems like a person who's been damaged by a rough life, and And
Man, what
then
a
he
strike out of a family.
and then they start talking about the dad in like the 4th or 5th episode. And where I left off last night, I stayed up way too late watching this. I was freaked out a little. But they leave off with, "Oh, didn't you know? Our father was a serial killer too." And it's like, dun dun dun. Like one of the brothers like came home early and caught the dad like murder fucking a little girl.
I'm
and,
sorry,
like,
documentarian. Is that something that you might have been interested in? Like that's
yeah. Again, Michael Bay, executive producer, but there are excerpts where Michael Bay is having prison phone calls with the murderer. Like, I guess the murderer was willing to open up to the Michael Bay on the phone. And, it's really interesting. I'd never heard about these.
Where are
sick
you watching
fuckers.
it? And what's it called?
HBO. It's on HBO. It's called Born Evil. Yeah, Born Evil. I think there might be 8 or 10 episodes of it, and I'm maybe 3 or 4 in, maybe 5. I watched a lot of it last night. I was hooked. When they did that Tiger King like thing at the very end where they're like, "Oh, didn't I mention both my brothers are serial killers?" And it's like, whoa, a different serial killer now. The first one was so evil. This one can't be that bad. And the second one's just
what's their
super evil.
total, like, who was the most successful of the killers?
So
Who killed the most?
they've only sort of alluded to that at this point because the one guy was in the Navy and he claimed to have killed someone at every time the boat stopped. At every port, he had killed a person, and
that could be a little serial killer bloviating. They tend to do that sometimes.
Well, he's an insane person, so you have to. So that's kind of the line they seem to be walking. They haven't gotten to the part where they start identifying lots and lots of like strings of bodies, but they do have, I think, murders that corresponded with his stops or something like that. Maybe disappearances.
Interesting.
So
Maybe
there was some evidence. They haven't touched on that yet because they're doing so much of like their childhood and maybe like what went wrong with them. And because the one guy in interrogation is like, "My daddy used to dress me up in a dress and put me in the ass," and they're like, "Did he really? I don't believe that. Now tell us where the little girl is." It's like it's like, you don't believe that. They took the one, you weren't here when I said it, but the guy started spilling the beans because his cellmate, he's insane, and his new cellmate was one of those guys who looks just like Jesus Christ, like beard and hair and everything. And the cellmate played along. He's like, "Confess your sins, my son." then he's like, 911.
That's hilarious.
I saw this reminded me of this. The guy was on Reddit. Kyle probably saw it because he sees Reddit as much as me. But coming out of surgery, he's on anesthesia and he's all fucked up and loopy and he's filming himself. And he's like, "I know I'm on a lot of drugs right now, but I swear I see Jesus in the corner." And he turns the camera around and here's this guy in a robe with long hair. "Hey."
Pretending to be Jesus.
You should be like, "No, I don't see anything."
Speaking of the whole serial killer thing, that just last night I was on whatever streaming service it is, and I was, mostly watching Age of Mythology videos on my computer. And I was like, I want to have something in the background I haven't had in a while. And Hannibal, that show,
I'm watching
which
that
is it's a good show. It's a solid show. I really like that Mikkelsen actor, the guy who plays Hannibal. He's very good.
Sick.
The black guy, I really like him a lot. The cop, I don't remember what that actor's name is.
That's Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne. I love that guy and everything he's in. The white guy who's like kind of the main character, not as sold on his performance, but like the first time I watched through that series, I was like, man, this guy Mads Mikkelsen, he's fucking sly. Like he knows exactly what to say. On this watch through, like even while I was like pausing videos on my computer to look up, and like it would be the black guy coming from a case where a victim's heart had been pulled out of his chest and stolen, and they're like, "We don't know what this guy's up to. Maybe he's eating the parts. Maybe he's just selling the parts. Maybe he's a bit of an organ,
collector,
intermediary." And he goes to Mads Mikkelsen's house, and he'll be like, "Oh, what is this delicious meal that I'm about to eat, insane German guy?" And he's like, "It's his heart, and we all have one." And he's like, "What kind of heart is it?" He's like, "It is a cow heart. Very similar to a human heart." And you'll notice the flavors of the fucking pudding I put on top of it or whatever. And he's saying shit that, like, if I were eating dinner, even not being a detective, I'd be like, "Are we all hearing this? Like, are we all hearing this?" He just said that, like, he's like, "Oh, dinner is so important." Yes, it is. you can take another person and almost make them a part of you, couldn't
He's
you?
always being
Like
arch.
he's not even doing like a sly thing about it. He's just like he served these fuckers tongue after a woman's tongue had been cut out, and he was like, "Yes, this was a particularly chatty Kathy." Like, and it's like the woman who was just killed was like a journalist or some shit who had like been reporting on it. Like it's beyond the pale.
Faster.
And so I love Lawrence Fishburne or whoever, great actor, but as a detective, that guy leaves a lot to be desired.
Dude, so his character's Jack Crawford. It's in all the novels and everything, and he gets played for such a dope and such a goober. He seems like an absolute moron.
Yeah, he's Charlie Brown.
Hannibal is always being very arch, like you said. He's sort of like tongue in cheek. I'm smarter than everyone here because
he's overtly sinister. It's not even arch. He's overtly sinister to people.
Lithuanian, by the way.
Okay, well, it's
and you know what we think about them.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, if Hitler had his druthers, wouldn't they have been in the mix? No,
they were in the mix. They were part of the Soviet Union.
No, I meant his mix.
Oh.
No, actually, he wouldn't have. He did, I don't think he wanted them.
They're very pale and like they're white.
They're real.
He was really a case by case basis kind of guy.
Right, I think.
He was. There was one group he really didn't care for.
That's what I appreciate about him.
Yeah.
He had his Jewish doctor, and he was like, you're not so Jewish.
That's what you think.
Well, it's true. He got
I'm
addicted.
billing your HMO for additional services.
He's looking at the bill.
A $70 Q-tip? Are you serious?
Were they Deutschmarks then?
I don't know what they were. But regardless, your point about they're playing Crawford for a fool, which I don't like because I like him as a character. You should see through that. They should at least make it harder for him to see.
Well, all right. I'll tell you where it gets a little old. There are so many wackadoo serial killers like in their county that it's like after a while, it's like at least the X-Files had a similar thing, but it would be across the country because they're FBI. Yeah, they'd be in Alaska, then they'd be in Florida. You know, it's like, yes, okay, it's a big area to cover. Lots of wacky things could be happening. But this is just sort of in the tri-state area of DC or whatever. This is like in the DC metro area all the time. It'll be Virginia, it'll be Rhode Island, but it's kind of in the same area. They hopped to Minnesota once. But it's these people, and it's not little crimes. It's like, this guy, he buries you alive and grows mushrooms off of you. And this guy, he turns people into human totem poles. Oh, that guy, he's obsessed with losing his daughter. So he's murdering and eating girls who look like her.
Yeah.
You know, the same old same.
Oh, this guy, he impaled a woman on a set of deer antlers.
That's the
and then clearly stole.
Well, that's Hannibal.
Yeah, that was Hannibal.
Yeah, he's allowed. We like that. He's allowed.
He's so over the top sinister that it's like I don't know how I wouldn't feel comfortable around that. Even the way he does his psychiatric routines. Someone will be like, you know what, Hannibal? I just fear that like I don't connect with anyone and I'm on an island by myself. And he's like, yes, it would be very disturbing to meet someone who lives their entire life this way, would it not? Like, and it's like, it's you right now.
Yeah, you sound very evil. You sound scary.
He does sound scary. I didn't know he was Lithuanian or Latvian or whatever.
Well, the character is Lithuanian, the actor is Norwegian, but
Nicholson.
He's scary to look at. Like he's a frightening man. Like he's
very angular.
He was great in Casino Royale. He was the guy who cried bloody tears and like faced off at the end.
I haven't seen that.
All right, so it's legitimately a good. But that's the only Bond movie I'd recommend is Casino Royale to like someone who doesn't give a fuck about Bond.
It is a good one.
Royale is just an action movie. Eva Green's in there with her big old titties. James Bond gets tortured and they like beat his balls with a big knotted ship's rope.
Oh, you've told me about this. Maybe.
And he's like, okay. And then like Mads Mikkelsen leans in. He's like, yes. He's like, a little to the left.
What's the one with that actor who's dead now? Who was the bad guy?
Philip Seymour Hoffman?
Yes, I've seen that one. I've seen the one where Philip Seymour Hoffman's the bad guy.
I don't think that's James Bond. I'm pretty sure that's
Mission Impossible.
Oh, well, then I have seen that.
4? Something like that. Something up there. That's a good movie. And Philip Seymour Hoffman, as always, gives an amazing performance. And you're scared of him. Like usually those Mission Impossible enemies, it's like, all right.
But on
let's see if we win.
On the Hannibal thing, when you try to, what was that, Woody? I'm sorry.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. I didn't realize that he was one of the greatest actors in the world.
That dude kicked ass.
To me, he was a not very good looking background character. And then after he died, like scenes that he did, came up on Reddit and YouTube and such. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy was brilliant. He is a
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, dude, Philip Seymour Hoffman is awesome. He's like there are.
I got a recommendation then.
Owning Mahoney.
Yeah, I think that's what I was about to say. Yeah, I had to look up the
gambling. He's addicted to gambling.
So owning Mahoney, he's a gambling addict, and it's hard to watch him lose this money. Like he goes to like take the casino back, and it's there. I don't know how much he's up, millions. It seemingly there's piles of money, and his buddy who's like a bellboy or something is like, you got walk away. You got him. You beat him. Walk away. And he's like, nah, I can't do that. Can't do that.
It's a great movie to watch.
Doubt he plays a priest. And I think Meryl Streep maybe plays a nun. The nun thinks the priest is molesting a particular young boy. And we don't know. The audience is sort of left in this ambiguous middle area where he is with the boy a lot, but seemingly he's taking him under his wing and just trying to be like the best guy ever. Because there's a fine line between someone who's going after a child and being creepy, or not a fine line perceptively. Like from the outside looking in, you might be confused whether someone is just the best dude you've ever met or the worst dude you've ever met by the way they act with a child they're trying to do something with. And you don't know as the audience. And at the end, I'm still like, I don't know if he molested that boy or not. I think he was. I like to believe he was not. That's how I've like come down like since last time I watched it. But I don't know. And Meryl Streep is like trying to ruin him. She's and there's these really powerful scenes of just them talking, and she's accusing and he's defending and he's crying. And
I should watch more of his stuff.
Have you seen The Master?
That's the other one, the cult movie with Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, I saw that when it came out.
He's really Philip Seymour Hoffman. I mean, is really really good in that. He's like a cult leader, Woody. I think you'd enjoy that one. It's a bit of a. There's parts of it that are a slow burn. No, just because
like your thing, Woody.
I just mean like you don't like the slow burn dialogue as much, but there's enough interspliced action, and you get to see him like run a master class of manipulation where someone in the cult or someone outside of the cult will try and instill doubt in his flock and his followers, and he's the master. He kind of masterfully turns every assault on what he's doing into a reason that the people should be more invested, not less, in what he's doing. And he's just a really good actor. It's just, did he die of heroin or something like that? I think he did.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Man, heroin takes too many people.
It's a way to go, man. It's a way to go.
All the cool kids.
Yeah, but it feels good. Like slipping into a warm bath, never getting out.
He's not getting out.
That's what they say.
I buy it. Yeah, I've read about what it's like. I've never done anything like it. I don't like opiates. I don't think I'd ever dig it.